Relationship story, 2 cups of coffee. In a bustling city, Caroline was a creature of habit. Every morning, she went to the same cafe, ordered a tall cappuccino with extra foam, and found a cozy spot by the window. It was her little ritual, a moment of calm before the chaos of her corporate job. Ethan, on the other hand, was more of a wanderer. He was a freelance photographer, always on the move, never staying in one place for too long. He'd stumble into different coffee shops around the city, taking photos of anything that caught his eye. An old man reading a newspaper, a couple sharing a quiet moment, or the play of sunlight on an empty cup. One autumn morning, he walked into Caroline's cafe. He didn't notice her at first, but his camera found her as he looked through the lens. Caroline was absorbed in her phone, her face softened by the morning light, her coffee cup cradled in her hands. He clicked the shutter instinctively. She heard the sound, looked up, and met his eyes through the lens. A mix of annoyance and curiosity flickered across her face, and she raised an eyebrow. "Sorry," Ethan said, lowering his camera. "You looked so at peace. I couldn't help it." Caroline, usually guarded, surprised herself by smiling. "I guess I'll forgive you if you buy me my next coffee." The next morning, Ethan was there before her, holding out a cappuccino with extra foam. Caroline laughed, both flattered and a bit wary of his attentiveness. They started meeting each morning, sharing stories over coffee, discovering how different their lives were, yet how well they fit together. She was organized, logical, and sometimes too serious. He was spontaneous, free-spirited, and occasionally a bit scattered. Their morning coffee turned into late-night conversations, weekend adventures, and eventually a deep love. Over time, Caroline's structured world softened, and she began to see beauty in the unexpected, while Ethan found comfort in routine. They taught each other to balance, to blend adventure with stability. Years later, on the morning of their wedding, Ethan placed a cappuccino with extra foam on the bedside table for Caroline, who smiled, knowing that sometimes the most beautiful relationships start with just a simple cup of coffee.